Okay. Another rough day. Oh, rough day on the old coffee truck. At this point, because I haven't really put them all together yet, I don't know if you've seen I bet you have, the the sign, the Daddy's Coffee and Sweets sign cutout that I made with this thing, actually, because I'm using it for my corner trim in here right now. But I just got a call from my buddy who works at a machine shop, lifelong friend. He's a good one. I bought a big piece of plastic, basically, and I created the logo for my big sign that's going to go on top of the truck. It's like 4x8. It's giant, and I want it lit from behind. It'll be awesome when it's done, said and done with. However, when I designed it, I didn't really take into consideration how wide my LEDs were. I bought some big, nice commercial LEDs to go behind the lettering so it shines back on the wood sign, so it just looks cool. Well, you saw me cut it all out, and it turned out okay. Like, it's not awful.
Really kind of is.
But it's definitely an amateur job for sure. Gonna even go ahead and kind of sand it out a little bit just to clean up some of the rough corners and stuff. But, you know, from a little ways away, you can't really tell. The problem is, in many places on the version that I did, it's a little too narrow, or it's like just narrow enough to put the LEDs on, but there's about 3 inches of kind of big, thick wire behind them that I wanted to hide, and they're rainbow colored. So it's not like, you know, on my black sign with my wood background, those little pieces of yellow won't show up. Like, they'll just be obvious and it'll look like trash. So I sucked it up and thought, you know what, okay, so I wasted $90 or whatever it was on that thing, and all the time that I took to create the logo, and I put it on a projector and I projected it and I traced it out. It wasn't that great tracing. Wasn't that great of a projector either, but here I am. But I got in there and I did it and I made it happen, and it, like I said, it looked okay, but as time went on, I felt not satisfied with that. So I had recently spoken with my buddy Chris about, you know, just designing sign, the sign actually, like just kind of the way that it's going to move on the top so I can bring it down whenever it's windy or if I'm traveling or something like that. And, you know, he was adamant about, hey man, if I can help you out in any way, just let me know. Basically, like around, you know, his metal shop stuff. If you need anything cut or, you know, whatever. Kind of recently, a few weeks ago, I decided I was going to go ahead and try to redo this sign to where it's thicker, like the letters are, you know, thicker than what I did. Like, basically, imagine a bold font, if that makes any sense. So same exact logo, just bolder font. I contacted them and I said, hey man, I'm happy to pay to get this done, but they've got a water jet cutter router. CNC machine, I guess. He was like, yeah man, give me that and file that they would need to get it cut out. And that's exactly what I did. I said, happy to pay for it. And he was like, it probably won't be a big deal. You know, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. He puts me in touch with their, I guess, salesperson. Anyway, so she kind of took my file and did what she needed to do with it, and we went back and forth a couple of times just to make sure it was right and stuff like that. And she finally gave me a quote. And it's a 4x8 sheet that I'm just cutting letters out, and it was $412. Okay. If you haven't if you haven't noticed by now, I am doing this on the cheap. I've only got so much money to work with, and I had already kind of wasted. I was hoping that I can find another use for the sign that I did. I'd already wasted the $100 or so on that, and then, you know, all the time that it took to do that, for me to do it myself. So she sends me the quote, and she's $412. I'm like, man, like, you know, and instantly I'm like, oh, I'm out. I can't do that. Like, I can't afford that. I mean, I technically have the money, but I don't know what I'm gonna need. This thing is nickel and diming me to death. Every time I turn around, I'm having to go and buy something else. Kind of not a big deal. I've got a little bit of money left to work with, but I've got to buy a new AC, and I think I'm going to a mini split, which is $500, $600, and then probably another $100 or so on top of that. So I just got a call from my friend, because I told him, I texted him and I was like, hey, I know I told you I'd happily pay for this, but I did not expect that, and I'm sorry to have put you out, and, you know, all this stuff. And he got back with me and he was like, that seems high. Let me see what I can do. So he went back, and I just got off the phone with him, and he said, man, I don't have that great of news. He said, you know, they even called around a little bit because they knew it was for him, you know, kind of a favor sort of situation. And they'd called around and got the cheapest price, which was like $100 more than what they quoted me. And I'm like, man. And he was like, that's kind of it. You know, he's like, I'm going to give it one more good college try, talk to, you know, a person or two, and see if we can't do any better on that. But, you know, as of right now, that's kind of what we're looking at. So the problem is, my version of the sign, my original version 1, was not that great. Like, I feel like I can probably use it somewhere on some other sign that I do, but it's not going to be my primary sign the way I wanted it on top of the truck. So I think I'm just going to have to suck it up and spend $400 and get this sign done, which puts me, you know, so that's $400. I spent $100 on the sheet of plastic, another $100 on the original sheet of plastic, not to mention the paneling that I put it on, which were like, at least 2 of them were $40 each. What am I up, $680, and 2 other ones at about $30 each. So man, I'm shooting around $750 on a homemade sign. Like, I feel like I could have had somebody make the whole thing for, probably not. That's dumb. Anyway, so I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna look fantastic. and I'm just going to have to chalk it up to one of those things that I will know about next time, because I'll have to do it again. I'll do it again, you know, when this is all done and over with, and when it's successful and I'm thriving, and I'll open another shop, if not one of my other brilliant little ideas. As of right now, tough day financially. Man, fortunately, I do have a wedding coming up that I'm shooting. You know, I haven't completely stopped my photography stuff, but I had sort of previously not done any weddings. They're just, I'm an old man, and 12 hours in the middle of the summer just kind of sucks anymore. But I'm doing one more, kind of my last wedding, and it should give me a couple bucks so that I can kind of replenish my expense here. So just kind of a little bit of a Debbie Downer moment. But I'm gonna make it work. It's gonna be fine. Thanks for sticking with me. Appreciate you. Leave a follow or a like or subscribe, whatever platform you're seeing this on. That'd be really helpful to me, encouraging, if nothing else, to hear from you. But I got to get back to it, because I've got to go to my 9 to 5 here in a little while. So thanks for letting me vent a little bit. It's not really venting, I guess, just complaining. I'm not really down with that much, but you're along for the ride through the ups and the downs. So this is one of the downs. No big deal. We'll make it happen. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.